This video is presented by Audiobooks Now. They offer a selection of over 320,000 digital audiobooks that can be downloaded and/or streamed. In the description of, and as the pinned comment for this video, is a special link from me, Ryan Holman, to a 30-day free trial of Audiobooks Now, and also to get 50% off of your first audiobook. Jim Hurtubise started to compete in the USAC National Championship, the predecessor to the current IndyCar Series, in 1959 and won at Sacramento, just his third race. He won one race each year over the next 3 seasons. Additionally, at the Indianapolis 500, Hurtubise was the fastest qualifier in 1960 as a rookie, and also qualified second in 1961 and 1963. He continued to compete in IndyCar through 1981. Around the time of his debut, the series was dominated by front-engine cars on both paved and dirt tracks. The cars built specifically for the former were called Roadsters. The 500 was not an exception to this. From 1911 to 1964, every winning car had a front engine. However, in the 1960s, Roadsters were gradually replaced by rear-engine cars. In 1960, all 33 500 starters were Roadsters. 5 years later, there were only 6. One of them was driven by Hurtubise. In 1966, he mostly drove a rear-engine Gerhard-Offenhauser for the Gerhard Racing team. Out of 6 races in it, Hurtubise retired from each of them and had a best finish of 13th at Phoenix, where an oil leak caused him to drop out after 68 of 150 laps. In 1967, Hurtubise started to have his own team, Hurtubise Racing, and had his own car, the Mallard, which will be the subject of this video. The car had an Offenhauser engine, but lacked sponsorship. Hurtubise entered it at Indianapolis and had a 4-lap qualifying average speed of 162.411 miles per hour. However, Jackie Stewart bumped him from the field. This was the only time the Mallard was entered that year. Hurtubise returned with it in 1968 and had more success. This time he had sponsorship from Gore Distributing, a food and beverage distributor that was promoting Pepsi and Frito-Lay. After crashing during pole day qualifying, Hurtubise's next qualifying attempt came under unusual circumstances. Due to rain canceling a significant amount of qualifying, only 26 of the 33 positions were filled. As a result, there was both extra time to qualify on bump day, which extended into a 5th day, due to darkness. On the 5th day, Hurtubise successfully qualified with a speed of 162.191 miles per hour. This was enough to get him 30th place. Although he gained 2 positions on the first lap, Hurtubise's 500 was short. He retired due to piston issues with 9 laps completed and finished 30th. As of 2024, this is the final time a front-engine car started the 500. However, it was not the final time one started an IndyCar race. For the 1970 California 500 at Ontario, Hurtubise qualified for the race in 33rd, last place, in his Gore Genesee car. He crashed on the 2nd lap and finished 32nd. The next year, Hurtubise in the Mallard, with sponsorship from Miller High Life for Gore, successfully qualified for the inaugural Pocono 500 in 33rd place. Last. This would be the race where the Mallard went the furthest. Hurtubise completed 35 laps before blowing an engine and finishing 30th. In 1972, Hurtubise had his Mallard on the grid at Michigan. This time it was entered by MVS Incorporated. Once again, he started last. This time it was 26th. Hurtubise retired due to valve issues after 12 laps. As of 2024, this is the final time a front-engine car started a paved IndyCar race. The Mallard was also entered at other races, with Hurtubise driving from 1967 to 1972, but failed to qualify for each of them. Although the car never qualified for the 500 after 1968, Hurtubise did make serious attempts to make the race in it through 1971. After primarily using rear-engine cars from 1972 to 1974, Hurtubise returned to using the Mallard from 1975 through 1980 for his team. However, he never started another race, and his efforts at the 500 in this time were less serious and unlikely to succeed. Infamously, Hurtubise did not react well to being prevented from attempting to qualify in 1978.
This is Craig Roberts back live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and there's quite a crowd gathered around the car second in line right now, and that's Jim Hurtubise, the Mallard Roadster car 56. Yesterday, Jim was refused a final sticker. They said he wasn't up to qualifying speed. They said that car wouldn't run 180 miles an hour, and Jim, of course, says there is no such rule that says you have to get up to a certain speed in order to qualify. He may or may not have a court order which will allow him to actually try to qualify car number 56, and he has tried it time and time again. So Herc is working on him pretty good down there, and that's the reason for the big crowd.
I just want to talk a little bit about the Jim Hurtubise situation that he explained a moment ago. He has put his car right in front of the next qualifier, and that's Bob Hartke. Every car, in order to be on the track, must have, first of all, an inspection sticker, and that permits them to practice. Then they get their final inspection sticker, and that's based on safety and whether or not the machine can actually make racing speeds. And they've been timing Jim Hurtubise and that old Roadster, he calls it the Mallard, all month long. He's never gotten over 175 miles an hour, and they say a rookie has to pass tests at that. So they have not given him the final inspection sticker. Now Hurtubise at the moment is standing right in front of car number 42 with Bob Hartke, who is the next car in line, and defying the USAC officials, that's Tom Binford, the chief steward, to move it. And he's waving, what he is waving is not a court order, but actually the entry fee, or rather the entry blank, and defying him to show him where it says that he has to run 180 miles an hour. That's the situation. It's unfortunate. Jim has brought a lot of criticism upon himself this year by bringing that car out again and trying to get into the field, and he's just not going to make it. And the USAC officials have refused to give him that second or final sticker, and that's the situation right now. It's going to be a big story, obviously, and you're going to see it develop here this afternoon. They could actually bring a hook or a wrecker out and put a hook on it and pull it away. And then if he does that, I imagine there'll be a lawsuit from Mr. Hurtubise. That's what he's threatening, at least. That's what he was threatening yesterday.
Yeah, he was very upset about it yesterday, and he pointed out to me the fact that you know, there's nothing that says that you have to run up a certain speed. So that's his point of contention. Of course, the entry blank that he has, the rules and so on, he's going over that with him right now.
And all the crowd noise that you might hear in the background is due to what this Hurtubise situation.
Let's get a camera down there and see what's going on.
They brought car number 42 around Hurtubise. That's the story.
And things are, Herc is stirring up some stuff. They just called for all the safety patrol members to move down into the area, and we had a report that when Bob Hartke's car was moved around Hurtubise's car, that Herc actually jumped in the cockpit of car 42. So we can't really, from our standpoint right here, from our vantage point, we really can't see, but we're going to have our camera down there and you'll be able to see something that's going on.
Well, one thing about Hurtubise, he knows how to get his sponsors coverage.
Our cameras are switching back down, and you can see in the middle of all that Jim Hurtubise, and as we have pointed out a couple of times, the reason he has not been given a final sticker to go out and make a qualification attempt, and they're telling him his car won't run over 175 miles an hour. And I'll be very honest, I have never heard that before, that rule that you have to have a car that is capable. They told Jim he had to have a car that was capable of at least 180 miles an hour. Had you ever heard that before?
I haven't, but I'm not aware of the rules. I don't follow them that close a lot of times, and so I'm not sure if you have to run 180 miles an hour to get that final sticker that the concern is about.
The final sticker we might mention, of course, your car has to be sound, it has to be safe, there can be no oil leaks, no fluid of any type coming out. So that's really what that's all about. Okay, they're still going through all that business down there. We're back live at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It looks like things are breaking up a little bit down at the start-finish line. Apparently, Herc got out of that car, and now Bob Hartke is going to go out for a qualification attempt. Here we go.
It looks like they're escorting somebody out. Who is that? Is that Hurtubise?
Well, it's kind of difficult to tell at this point, but I would suggest he is the only one who is causing a commotion down there. Perhaps it is Jim. As you pointed out, he's not too bad at getting publicity. Not a bad article in Sports Illustrated. He got 3 pages more than the World Series last year. So Jimmy does a pretty good job in that direction. As we mentioned, they've got the engine started now in the car, driven by Bob Hartke. We have only 32 cars qualified. We need one more to start to fill the field, and then the bumping will start. Let's pick up the PA and Tom Carnegie.
And his crew will go to the north end of the pit area. Everyone behind the yellow line. Now there goes Hurtubise out onto the track, trying to hold up this qualification. And certainly for the good of racing, Hurtubise is certainly not doing himself any good at all. Well, I think he just has killed all the fan interest in Hurtubise over the years by his actions at the moment, trying to hold up qualifications. Now everybody get back. That's everybody get back. Everybody get back.
What do you think?
Everybody behind the yellow line.
I really don't understand. We've both known Jim for a long time, and I do not at this point understand what he's trying to prove.
I'm not sure either, you know. Sometimes you get a little bitter about the big business, the high finance it takes to go racing right now, and that's always been a concern of Jim's. Possibly he was on the racetrack, he might have saw some oil, a piece of rock, or you know, something out there he wanted to get off the track. But right now I don't understand Jim at all.
Okay, let's stay with the action on the track. They're trying to get all the people moved back and get everybody out of the area where the area of the wall, the pit wall, is restricted to 2 people per car, and there are definitely a lot of people. Jim Hurtubise now being led away through the Tower Terrace area by some state troopers, and I believe it did take a state trooper to get Jim out of here.
Unfortunately, this ended up being the final notable moment for Roadsters at the 500. Hurtubise's Mallard was a car that only qualified for 4 IndyCar races, started last in all but 1 race, and finished no better than 23rd, but it had a significant distinction in American racing, being IndyCar's final Roadster.